The table was set, candles lit, the house smelled like cinnamon and roasted turkey. My husband smiled as he placed a glass of wine in front of me and said, "To us." I took one sip, and my throat started burning. My vision blurred. My heart raced. That's when I realized something terrifying. My husband didn't want a divorce. He wanted me dead. And what he didn't know was that I had already uncovered everything. Christmas had always been my favorite holiday. For 22 years, I made it special. I cooked every meal, wrapped every gift, and smiled through every family photo, even when my marriage quietly fell apart behind closed doors. This year was no different, at least on the surface. The house was decorated perfectly, the tree glowing softly in the corner, carols playing low in the background. My husband, Daniel, insisted on a quiet Christmas dinner. No guests, just us. That should have been my first warning. Daniel had been distant for months. Not angry, not cold, just detached. Conversations ended quickly. His phone never left his hand, and when I asked questions, he smiled politely, the way strangers do. Still, I told myself it was stress. Work, life, marriage fatigue. I wanted peace, especially on Christmas. He cooked dinner that night. That alone was unusual. Daniel hated the kitchen. He poured the wine himself and handed me the glass, his hand lingering just a second too long. "To us," he said, raising his glass. I took a sip. The burning came instantly. My throat felt like it was on fire. The room spun. I gripped the table as nausea slammed into me. My heart pounded so loudly I could hear it in my ears. Daniel didn't move. He just watched, calm, silent, waiting. That's when fear turned into clarity. This wasn't food poisoning. This was intentional. I pushed my chair back and pretended to collapse, knocking the wine glass onto the floor. It shattered, red liquid spreading across the white rug like blood. I gasped, clawing at my chest, letting my body go limp. From the corner of my eye, I watched him stand. He didn't call for help. He didn't panic. He smiled. "I'm sorry it had to be this way," he whispered. I stayed still, barely breathing. He leaned closer, checking my pulse. When he stood again, I heard him pick up his phone. "It's done," he said quietly. "She won't be a problem anymore." Problem. That word echoed in my mind. What Daniel didn't know was that 3 weeks earlier, I had already found out about the other woman, the secret bank account, the life insurance policy he had doubled, with himself as the sole beneficiary. I had visited my doctor after weeks of strange stomach pains. The tests showed traces of poison, small doses. Someone had been slowly building it up in my system, someone who cooked my meals. That night, as Daniel turned his back to clean up, I slipped my fingers into my mouth and forced myself to vomit quietly onto the floor beside the table. Then I grabbed my phone and pressed the emergency button I had secretly set weeks ago. When the police arrived, Daniel was still in the kitchen, rehearsing his fake panic. He didn't even see them until the handcuffs snapped around his wrists. The wine bottle was tested, the insurance documents were uncovered, the phone call was recorded. Christmas morning, Daniel sat in a holding cell, and I woke up in a hospital bed, alive. This Christmas, I didn't unwrap gifts. I unwrapped the truth, and for the first time in years, I finally slept in peace.